Darren Burrows, welcome to Hunter Business Insider.
Thanks, mate.
We're ready to talk about technology. So tell us what you're doing. Where are your competencies now?
Well, I've got an interest in three companies, all to do with electronics and being under the water, I guess. ATSA Defence Services was founded in 2000 and we provide service to the Navy, specifically their underwater vehicles. Last year we acquired UVS Proprietary Limited, which sells components to the subsea industry, oil and gas, oceanographic, hydrographic. And I'm also Operations Director with Elemental Energy Technology, that is a startup company developing a marine turbine for baseload renewable energy. So the common theme is the sea.
You like water?
Yeah.
Preferably under.
Yeah.
And you started as, no, you were from the Navy?
Yeah, electrical engineer, graduated from UNSW. Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Tell us a little, we'll go to ATSA first up because that's where it all started. The challenges you face in running that. Yes, you've moved on and there are other elements. What were some of the things that you faced?
Well, when we started, we were very small fish in a very big pond. And
Sorry, you're back in the water again.
Yeah. Yeah, our startup was very uncertain, 2 guys and a mobile phone, and growing that business was a distinct challenge. Probably the most dangerous time was when I was back on the tools. You have to do everything when you start up. Nobody wants to know you. You can't get an ABN, you can't get an ACN. You make a bit of money, it comes around, and then people want to sell you insurance and things like that. I guess that's the typical journey of a startup, yeah.
Because you came from, did you go straight from university into the Navy?
I was already in the Navy when I was at university.
Yeah.
And I finished with the Navy. Then I worked on 2 major defence projects. The Anzac Ship project down in Melbourne, building 8 frigates for the Australian Navy. And then I came to Newcastle for the Minehunter Coastal Ship Program, building 6 ships for the Navy. Both of those very successful defence projects.
Indeed, indeed. Great platform. Platform.
Yeah.
So how do you pick up your business skills?
Well, small business was in our family. My father ran a very successful small business, so I guess I heard a lot of it around the kitchen table. I did an MBA after my engineering degree, and then I could just...
That was outside, in the Navy or outside?
Outside.
Yeah.
And then I could see that running business was about doing the simple things well, I guess. And in big corporations, you tend to see people doing the simple things fairly poorly at times. Yeah. And it can be very frustrating. Yeah.
And ATSA still continues to grow, being defence related. Does it suffer directly with cuts to defence spending and things?
It suffers directly peaks and troughs. It's very difficult with the defence spending, it's very peaky. Hence the move to the acquisition to even out some of that peak and troughiness.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about UVS.
Yeah, well, in ATSA we always wanted to be more than just a service company. We wanted to grow, and we had a number of attempts at growing, I guess, through organic growth, developing our own products, which is a very long and painful route, but we had a go at it. We've got 3 professional engineers plus myself on staff in 15, which is a lot for a small company, so we're quite high tech.
Quite devoted to development.
Yeah,
and that research and development is critical to it.
Yeah, we spend quite a lot of money back into R&D. Then we got the idea to commercialise somebody else's technology, so we had a couple of goes with universities and the CSIRO, people like that. But again, it's a very difficult path to extract that IP out, and it's still a valley of death from there through to commercialisation and a product. So we had all that experience, and then the third idea we got was the acquisition, and that's worked out very well for us. ATSA is primarily a service company with a small sales element. The company we've acquired, UVS, is primarily a sales company with a smaller service element. So,
did you have the skills that it took to because it's a significant, and it understates it substantially, a significant set of skills are required to acquire or review what you buy. So how did you come to grips with all of that?
Well, we used a consultant. Using expert advisors is one of the things we always try to do. And so that gave us the confidence, I guess, to see that we did have the skills to do that acquisition. And,
and they brought, I guess, in the negotiation part, because engineers take this for what it's worth. Not necessarily great negotiators.
No, very, very prone to undersell themselves.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So so your advice would be to use
Absolutely,
specialists in
use
those areas.
professionals. Yeah, when you need them. Absolutely, use the best advisors you can. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Now the third space is the renewable energy.
Yeah. So that's a startup and
Being
renewable.
built here in the Hunter, or
The company itself is based in York Street, where they're raising funds from in Sydney, but all the engineering's being done here in the Hunter. So
Okay.
yeah, it's been a big success. We won the Excellence Award for the Newcastle Division, Engineering Excellence Award, and we get off to the national competition in November in Canberra. ATSA did the generator integration, RPC Technologies did the fiberglass build, and there was a company in Brisbane that did the original analysis and design.
fantastic. If you look back, could you give a tip to someone, well, let's talk about engineers with a very specific skill set. In going forward and setting up a business, what would your piece of advice, your gem be?
Advice to engineers?
Well, anyone starting a business.
Anyone starting a business.
Yeah.
Well, the simple things still work. I still remember a lot of the things that I learnt during my MBA, and just applying those over and over again. It's not rocket science. People want to be treated well, and we try to give people the best tools, treat them well, and the results should be fantastic, and they usually are. Yeah.
So it sounds more like and this is your staff that you're treating well,
Yeah.
presumably, and that they treat your clients well then.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Is there legacy in this? You're still a very young man. Do you think about, okay, what's the legacy I want to leave? What does Darren Burrows want to?
Well, you're very conscious that the salaries supporting families, and you'd like to see the whole company go on. It's a great capability that you put together, so I'd like to see the companies move on. And in fact, UVS was founded in 1973, so it's very satisfying to be taking that into a new era, combining it with ATSA. So I'd like to see the companies live on.
And timelines for renewable energy? We're raising money out of York Street. I've got exactly where you are.
Yeah. Well, the marine renewables about 10 years behind wind, so it's coming. There's a lot of money in the Northern Hemisphere. There's a lot of money in Australia for clean tech programs. Blind Freddy can see that burning coal has to finish at some stage. Non-renewable resources. Yeah.
Do you get support, and how do you engage with government agencies? Is it appropriate to, at your stages in any of those companies, to be looking to the government for support or identification or whatever?
Yeah, we've done that in the past. R&D tax concession, export management development grant, things like that. We've been through Commercialisation Australia programs. Yeah, we've used those from time to time, and some of the business planning and things we've done have helped us a lot on our path. Yeah, for sure.
And are you involved? Do you work with HunterNet?
Yes, yeah, we've been in HunterNet right from the start. Always found ourselves a bit of an outlier because the focus of HunterNet has been heavy industry and mining services, I guess. But HunterNet has always been there for us, and so when you're a small business, it's very hard to know what's going on, and HunterNet is a good source of what's happening. And yeah, no, I thoroughly recommend HunterNet.
Okay. Here's your rant opportunity. You get to change anything. What would that be? In business, I'm not going to talk about it in family like it. But from a business. And I should point out that Gunilla has graced this chair before you, so she's going to supervise this interview fairly heavily anyway. What on a business level? What would you
support to startups, support to manufacturing. Working with a startup like EET, we need the established manufacturing industry in the Hunter, because we need to go to them and say, how would you do this? Oh, we'd do it that way. I wouldn't do it that way. It's that sort of experience, the capability, people that know how to make things, people who've got the capacity and understanding who've done it before. That's what we need to drive the future of this country. Smart manufacturing, software embedded in manufacturing. The product that ATSA supports was developed by 5 engineers out of Sweden, and that has made a whole living for me, a bunch of people in Australia, and people all around the world. that sort of technology.
So, and your sustainable energy could do the same.
It could. Well, it will. Yeah, the smarts is coming from Australia. The manufacturing, the volume manufacturing might be done overseas, but the original R&D should stay here, and the design. Yeah.
Okay. Intellectual property, if I can just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you secure that at this point, or for your renewable energy?
Yeah, that technology is protected by a web of patents. Yeah, and a lot of our work is devoted to writing those patents and working with the patent attorneys on that.
Just encouraging that thought, because I think too many get down the path and think about IP protection a little late in the process.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, something you need to think about right up front. Yeah.
There was a conscious effort to get out of or to spread beyond defence.
Yes,
so what sort of
absolutely.
parameters did you use in analysing where you wanted to be?
Well, we did some business planning, which was funded by the New South Wales state government, and I suppose that helped us see, that we really needed to do something. And then we said, well, we want to do something with electronics and water. We kept coming back to that, being on the doorstep of
and technology.
Technology and water. Yeah. And when we looked around, we already knew about UVS. We'd known about them for some time, and it was a cup of coffee with the owner, and away we went. Yeah.
So you have to think as carefully about where you're moving. Well, it's business planning 101. Where are you?
It is.
What are your skills when you talk about, I guess, ATSA from the very start? What would you describe as your core competencies?
I just like that orchestra leader. What's that guy called? A conductor analogy. Yeah, he's not the best violin player. He's not the best tuba player, but it's helping the whole orchestra sound good. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And your orchestra is made up of?
Engineers, technicians, and seeing them enjoy their work. Technicians like fault finding and solving problems. Engineers like solving problems and building things. I have a business partner, Neil Hodges, and we're very complementary in our activities. And doing Shirley Dalton's course really lifted my understanding of that, and just how valuable that partnership was, and what a super high trust level we have, which enables us to do even more.
Even more.
Yeah, and that teamwork starts at the top and building the team below. Yeah.
Anything else that you wish you'd known, let's say 10 years ago, that you now know?
Well, I wish we'd found the acquisition pathway earlier. But that, you wish your experience is a great teacher. But
it is. How do you get exposed to a Michael Craddock, for instance? How did you find him? He's a very difficult man to find.
Sure. HunterNet, I think. Hunter Founders Forum.
Right.
Founded by Neville Sawyer. And went along to that one Friday morning, rubbing the sleep out of my eyes, and here was Elemental Energy pitching on marine turbines, and I'd been following the growth of it through the subsea industry in all the magazines. That technology had started to appear, and Michael was very positive about the company from the panel, and went up and spoke to him, and networking. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a vested interest. Business Insider is about exposing you to other people and other people to you. We are fans of that. It's digital networking. That's what we do. Doing it in the flesh is even better.
Yeah. Sure.
So we encourage that as well.
Yeah.
Darren, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.